Thank you to the people who are supporting me on Ko-fi. You guys are keeping me alive. The Playful Inn was a small building at the furthest outskirts of home. Sometimes it was debated quite heartedly if it still belonged to the village, but according to the town's blueprint, it just barely fit. The Playful had 4 rooms out for rent, an artificial hot spring with mint-scented water, a gift shop filled with stuffed toys, and thanks to the owner's liquor license, was the only place the puppets of home could purchase alcohol at. The inn was well liked, despite being a little difficult to get to, and so secluded. Sometimes just one lonely puppet who made their way to the inn was the only customer the tavern would have that day. Everyone just sort of equally wondered if they were the only ones knowing about this place. But then again, everyone knew in the end. The most common customer of the inn's bar was none other than Barnaby Beagle, for obvious reasons. He was the only denizen of home who had a proper vehicle. Sure, it was a unicycle, but it was still something that made him travel quicker and more convenient than others. Barnaby loved the traditional English apple cider with 13% alcohol they sold there. The Blue Dog Man has been doing this routine so regularly that he could down multiple glasses of the drink without his mental abilities being affected. If anything, he felt as if he was a little bit more sociable while having 1 or 2 glasses in his gut. But there was something else. Or well, someone else. The reason Barnaby Beagle was the inn's #1 customer was you. Tila Tannenberg, heir of the Playful Inn and the Tannenberg Hotel Empire. Though your parents were still alive, so that hasn't happened yet. And while technically you were loaded, you had been challenged by your father to run the Playful Inn until he would come to pass. Because in that case, you would get everything. But if you failed with your inn, you'd get nothing. So this was more about planning for your future than actually wanting to run the small tavern. If it was up to you, you would just lie down on some beach, having a muscular butler deliver you drinks, and enjoy the sounds of waves while a group of suitors massaged your feet. But being stuck inside of home wasn't so bad. You yourself were a regular humanoid puppet. Your skin was made up of pretty dark orange felt. Your nose was yellow and you had beautiful blonde hair. The inside of your mouth was purple and you had a pink tongue. Additionally, your arms were long enough they could be dragged behind you on the ground. But they just allowed you to reach the top drink shelves much easier. Your clothing style was entirely based on how you felt, having about 7 different outfits depending on your mood. Right now you felt a little chipper, so you were wearing your cute pink dress with white frills and rainbow-colored knee-high socks. And as per usual, you were manning the bar. It was a quiet day so far. No one had come in yet. So you had decided to stuff yourself with the free salted peanuts on the counter. Ironically, it was just then that the door to the bar opened. And with an awkward smile, Barnaby Beagle looked down at you. With a face full of peanuts. Do you want me to give you a minute to finish that? You looked down at the peanuts, then back at Barnaby. Maybe you shouldn't have leaned over them. And maybe you shouldn't have used both hands to shove them into your mouth. Not to mention with how you were eating, crumbs were now everywhere. Seconds passed before you placed both hands on the counter and took a few steps away.
You know, I've heard of nutty, but this is something new.
Not a bad pun, Barnaby. How does that come so naturally to you?
He chuckled. Well, I guess I'm just a big fan of nutrition. And these little peanuts.
He picked one up and threw it into his gaping jaw before crunching it beneath his teeth.
Walnut leave my mind.
You put your elbow on the counter and placed your chin on your hand. You know they're getting worse, Barn.
Not to mention, I like your company.
And with that he finally sat down on the stool before you. Smiling, you took a step back. What can I get you?
$1 million and your hand in marriage.
You looked at him skeptically.
Oh, you mean something realistic? Well, I guess anything that tastes like apples.
Smirking, you grabbed a bottle of apple cider from the top shelf and a glass, filling it before him and adding 2 ice cubes to it.
Oh, just how I like it.
He leaned his head down and began slurping up the drink with his tongue. There were a few droplets shooting around him, but that was okay. After all, he was a regular. Delighted, Barnaby leaned back once the glass was half empty. Licking his lips, he yawned.
Oh, wow. That's good stuff.
You sound like you needed that.
Oh, I did, Tila, I did.
You raised an eyebrow.
It's such dog weather out there. Way too hot. And you know I only ventilate my body by sticking my tongue out. I was so thirsty.
You giggled as he finished his drink. Was that a pun? He shook his head.
Oh, Tila. I don't joke about the weather.
His sudden seriousness took you off guard. You almost felt bad for even asking. Sheesh, want me to give you one on the house as an apology? Barnaby shook his head.
Have you still not learned your lesson, Tila?
Right. The last time you gave him a drink on the house, he asked you to make a purple urple, one of the hardest to mix cocktails on your menu, just to spite you. And another time he ordered the most expensive drink in the tallest glass, blatantly taking advantage of your goodwill. But honestly, it was kinda cute. And expected. Yeah, I guess I'm retracting my offer.
Well, that's cheating. You don't do that.
Smirking, you replied, I can. With you. Because I know you will be back. Barnaby sighed.
You're right.
Softly, the dog puppet smiled at you.
I just can't resist you.
You blushed hard, and your heart skipped a beat. Quickly, he added, and your drinks. Of course, just whenever he was about to be emotional, he had to add something stupid. Yeah, of course. You'd rather have a shot of whiskey than be anyone's cup of tea.
Well, to be fair, it is quite hard to drink 8 glasses of water, yet 8 cocktails? That's easy peasy lemon squeezy.
You narrowed your eyes. What's your game, Barnaby?
Any single item on the menu, right?
I said no on the house, dog. Barnaby licked his lips as he stared you down challengingly.
Oh, I was gonna ask for a couple's cherry popper.
Well, Barn, as the name suggests, that's a couple's drink. After a few seconds of silence, you turned around, staring at your shelves of alcohol. Barnaby? You stuttered as you finally understood.
Yes?
he purred. You inhaled deeply, turning around to face him, your long arms already beginning to mix the drink. As he took a step closer, the dog was looking at you smugly. You know that's only on the special menu, right? You said.
I know. It's on the me and you special.
Too bad you aren't Korean. You could be my soulmate.
Yeah, but the thing is, you're so beautiful I already forgot my pickup line.
Damn, he was good. Too good. Hissing, you muttered, Barnaby, you're cuter than any puppy at the pound. 'Cause you're the only one I want to take home.
Says the keyboard I'd like to type on.
You raised an eyebrow. Okay, that one was genuinely good. Casually, he leaned back.
I have my moments.
The drink was finished and placed between the two of you. 2 glowing party straws were crossed within. The couple's cherry popper was just your take on what was normally sold as a hibiscus bourbon cocktail. The drink was a perfect blend of tropical flavors with the warming bourbon mixed within. Using a heart-shaped mason jar, it combined hot water, sugar, hibiscus powder. It was stirred until the sugar was completely dissolved. Then the mixture was poured into a shaker with some bourbon and ice cubes until it was at the perfect temperature, shaking for about roughly 10 to 20 seconds. Then more ice was added into the heart-shaped mason jar and the mixture poured into the container. Finally, a thin layer of cherry powder was gently spread on top of it. The cherry powder would slowly descend, mixing with the drink, mostly on its own, creating a pleasant aftertaste. Slowly you exhaled out of your mouth.
I love watching your work, said Barnaby.
Are you setting up for a joke? He shook his head.
No. I genuinely wanted to compliment you.
Leaning forward, the two of you took the first sip. Your mind was wafting on cloud 9. It was late by now, and you were lying in your bed, in your underwear, your ceiling fan spinning above you hypnotically. You could barely feel your limbs. God, you were so drunk. Of course, Barnaby didn't just stop at one of those drinks. Slowly you turned your head to your bedroom door, where Barnaby stood, leaning against the door frame. He could just barely manage standing up. After a moment of admiring you, just lying there, he approached, climbing on top of you. He smirked.
You know, you're the most beautiful round plastic flying disc I've ever caught.
You grunted, humored by his joke, reaching up, wrapping your arms around his large hips, gently kissing his lips, sliding your tongue against his sharp canines. And as you retreated, you smiled and said, I'm almost sorry I don't have any peanut butter. Barnaby blinked.
Wow. That one wasn't bad taste.